I basically like to take this opportunity to get you interested in the financial industry. And the financial industry is too wide to talk about, but I'll talk to you about what my history is very quickly, and then take you into what kind of jobs the companies I represent and I've been into in my trading career need, what kind of qualifications we need, and then we'll look at the future of the markets, because the markets are changing. And that's why we call it version 2.0, because I've been in this business for 29 years. There hasn't been a dull moment. Every day has been interesting. I'm very passionate about the microstructure of the market. And I think we can better financial markets every day, and we should better the financial markets every day. But it's important that you realize, and I realize it certainly, that you're the future and it's not me anymore. And I may look young, I hope, but I have a lot of years in trading behind me, but you're the future and not me. So if you want to change the shape of the markets, it's you, and we're reliant on you. I'm going to take you back a little bit in history, just to show you what we have been dealing with. I went up the stairs and I found this in a box. And I thought I'd show you just to give it a little bit of color. This is how we looked like not too long ago. And you would trade all day long. You would trade on the floor. And I'm going to take it off because this is about the future and not about the history. But I keep telling my 17-year-olds, look, this is part of the history book. So this is what we looked like not too long ago. And I wasn't part of this pit, but a similar pit here in London. Basically, you were given a job because you were either tall, you were a mathematical genius, but you have to come with other skills. You have to be very loud, very decisive, have a plan, execute that plan, and be very flexible in order to change the plan, because what you figured out in the morning was always different when you basically entered the market. From the opening, you stood on your spot, and then the war started. And it's a war zone. So the war zone basically means that it's a big battle out there. Physically, this was extreme. You were on the floor from basically 8 till 4 o'clock. I'm not a heavyweight, and I'm not muscular, but I was certainly 15 pounds lighter back then. Didn't have any muscles on me. But it was all about intimidating and try and follow a trend in the market and run for either the order, execute the order very quickly. Information across the board was not on a level playing field. And you may recall that we had I think they call it a crier or so in the UK. But even before that, we had a flag system in the US, whereby signalman would flag an order from the New York Stock Exchange to the Philadelphia Stock Exchange. That took about 19 minutes. Well, since then, we've been going through a lot of evolutions, technical developments. I've been part of the telex world, where you get an order in via telex. I've been part of the fax world. The first fax came in, I saw it. Very interesting, but it was all delayed. These days, information will come to us, for instance, via Twitter. There are trading houses who trade on their own account, with their own capital, for their own risk, basically on news out of Twitter. But you could also go the number way. I've always traded on numbers. I didn't care what kind of product it was, whether it was a stock, a future, and it could be a future on anything. As long as I have a number line in front of me, I could trade. So information dissemination is the big change, and that's what I like to get across to you. Since probably 20 years, we're now in the sort of algorithmic trading world, whereby firms started to develop 20 years ago the first algorithms. And algorithms, don't get overly impressed, they're not complicated. Anyone can think of an algorithm. If you say 1, 2, 3, and you enter a kindergarten class, everyone will say 4. That's quite logic. Now, probably to you, if you're a mathematical student, and I say 1, 2, 3, the chances of you mentioning 4 goes down. You put a standard deviation to it, you can actually trade it. You can make a market around it. And the data these days is stored. So number we get out there, any message to an exchange, back or forth, we store, and you can analyze. And that's the part of the business which has completely revamped from the trading jacket back to today's markets, financial markets. I was at a lab this week where we had 45 terabytes in 2 shoeboxes. I've started the business in 2002 in Europe, and we had probably needed 10 data racks for the same amount of computer power. And so this is only the last 15 years of change, and you're going to be into the future of this data dissemination. And if you look at trading firms, obviously they all smile every day, and these guys have. But what trading is really about is trying to find an algorithmic way, a systematic way to analyze the markets. And this is done by data. This is done by not only controlling the data you get, by analyzing it very quickly. We need programmers for that. We need quants. But the trader is not a trader anymore. We call it an engineer. And I think in future, if one of you becomes a trader, you actually become an agent. So what makes a trader these days is basically the whole team around an individual. So we will have an agent in the future with a whole team around him of programmers, statistical people, but don't underestimate folks who are in the regulatory field. We understand regulation. We like to be regulators. As proprietary traders who trade on their own account, we like to be regulated. We ask for regulation. And these days in Brussels, the finals on a particular regulation finished. And we're going to fall under that regulation in 2017. Much needed. But with regulation comes data storage, and people who analyze that market structure. And we're all going to be, like we have been, very flexible within those rules and regulations, and we'll find the best way to trade. And to trade means that you actually provide liquidity in the market. You can be there all day long in the market. And how do you do that? By a quant model, to be statistical, the right programmers, to program in a certain language, and all those guys form a team. And the trader is no longer that individual who yells and shouts and abuses everyone. Now you actually work as a good, cohesive team. And that's what I liked about the last 15 years. You were not an individual. You were really strong in building a team. And these guys work hard. It's a numbers game. But if you look at the microstructure, it's much more important than the microstructure we didn't have when I was wearing that jacket. The microstructure of today is almost decisive how the trader would think. So there is a very good way between the two in order to be proactive. The microstructure people can be proactive to the trader, the agent in future, and the data folks. And I think that's the challenge you guys are going to have. Legally, if you're in the legal field, you can work 24/7. You can be innovative. You need to be innovative and disciplined, but you find a way to instruct the trader, instruct the programmer what he can do and what he cannot do. So enough about the technical side, enough about the team. There's also a bigger team where I think HR comes in and commercial people. As a trader, you need to be proactive and explain to an exchange what you need, whether it's technology or whether it's an algorithm. You work with your own algorithm, but an exchange has an algorithm, and that algorithm can be changed and optimized. You can tell the exchange, this is better for you. If you change the algorithm, it becomes better for the market, it becomes better for all under the strict regulation. So it's not only what I call indoors, you can go external as well on what you need to do and can do. And a head of trading was like a job, and someone would be an MD, head of trading. I'd rather call it a facilitator. And within the team, people facilitate each other. So it's a pretty flat organization, whereas before you have a trader on top. But nowadays, we're all facilitating. And I like that a lot more than the old days. What it has brought us is transparency in the market. Data storage is absolutely phenomenal for analytics, both for the regular, internal. The world has looked a lot better, but can look a lot better over time with better technology. So I've touched basically on the regulator. legal, operations. And you can definitely see the microwave technology coming in. That's, if you look on the web, that's fun to talk about and to analyze. It's a new way and a quicker way of getting a message out and back across the ocean, across the channel. These are all parts of our business which cooperate and collaborate on a daily basis, and one affects the other. On the future, well, who am I to forecast the future? As a day trader, we hardly look beyond overnight. But I think these are some of the topics you're going to be involved in. Blockchain being one. Cloud computing we already have, but it's going to be even more powerful. We're going to have quantum computing. Micro auctions is a very good topic exchanges talk about these days. Big data. Yeah, what's big data? You get some data from an exchange, it's like 2 terabytes. Is that big? You're going to see a lot more data because we will be producing a lot more data. But then how to analyze it? Cybersecurity is a huge issue coming towards, I think, anyone who's opened up a computer ever in his life. We have patented algos, obviously data mining. And if you develop algorithms, you're going to absolutely have every day a new view on an algorithm. So you will have advanced algorithms. And I'd just like to stop briefly at what's called deep learning. Back in 88, 89, we were involved in neural networks. And I don't think neural networks are that much different from deep learning. Deep learning is more advanced, we have better tools, we're better equipped, but it's a fascinating world, and we then also have machine learning. And I've seen examples whereby the human is not completely out, but the computer programs himself and will provide liquidity to the market. That's one way we can go. Anyway, pick your spot in there. There's enough on the menu for the next 20, 25 years. And if you're interested in any of them, welcome and join us. Thanks.